Hey. Hello. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, world. Hello, internet. Hello, YouTube. Good to see everybody. Let me take a look here. Let me get a clear view of my chat. Lots of people in the chat. Lots of regulars, familiar faces, of course. This is good. Good to see. Let me move over here. There we go. All right. Happy Friday morning. Well, Friday morning for me. Hello, hello. Lots of people here. Hiding Love Natty is back. Milena, Rosa, Navjot, Vivek. The usual suspects. Asala is back. French Leo, of course. Victor, Diari, Geraldine. All right. So, hello. I'm Shaun, and I'm going to be your teacher for the next hour or so. It's Friday night for some of you. It is 9 o'clock Friday morning for me here in sunny Vancouver, Canada. I'm downtown at the Canadian College of English Language in Vancouver in our little studio, coming to you live. Yeah, I'm getting lots of hellos, hellos, hellos. If it's your first time, tell me so. Yeah, are you a newcomer? Are you a newbie? We'll be nice to you. Well, we'll be nice to everybody, but it's always nice to see new people. Saturday morning for Giari. All right, we got lots of people. We got Raouf is from Nigeria. Rumesa, yes, I am Canadian. I am. We got Riyadh in the house. Who else do we have? Peru, Geraldine. Zozo. All right. Hi, Pamela. Lots of people. Raouf, your first timer. Cool. Well, welcome to this crazy little global classroom we've got going on here. French Leo, you're a new shy French guy. Mm-hmm. Got Pakistan, Turkey, lots of people. So I'm ready. I'm still a little sleepy because, yeah, it's still early-ish, right? Kritaya from Bangkok. Hi. I've got my water. Of course, I've got my coffee. I have to have my coffee. You guys, some people ask me about my coffee in. Okay, there we go. Yeah, some people were talking about my coffee in the chat earlier. It reminded me of a student that I had years ago, a nice Italian guy. One day he said that Canadian people, to him, look like Lego people, Lego men, because our hands are like this, right? We always have our coffee, so we're just Lego people, walking up a mountain with our coffee. Yeah, on the bus with the coffee. So that's me. I'm a Lego man. I've got my coffee and I'm ready for the day. Okay, so hi, intermediate level class today. Okay, if you're a little bit higher, if you're a little bit lower, everybody's welcome. All right. Yeah, everybody's welcome to join the class. This is an intermediate level class, but for some of you higher level students, I think sometimes it's good to review what you've learned before, okay? I am doing well. You guys are asking me how I'm doing? Lego people have square hands? I don't think so. Their hands are just like that. Yeah? Oh, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay. And yeah, if you're as I said, if you're a little bit lower, because some people are saying there, it looks like Matematica is saying your level is pre-intermediate. That's okay. You're welcome. Okay, you're welcome to join. So let's jump in here. All right. Where am I? Where'd I go? There I am. Okay, so anybody who's new to the class, if you have questions during the class, put your questions in the chat. and I will try to answer them as best as I can. If they're about the topic of the class, if they're totally off the map, just bananas, then I might not get a chance to answer them. But if I miss a question, just keep putting it in the chat. Sometimes I miss it because I'm looking into your eyes here, right? So yeah, so put your answers in the chat, and in a little bit, I'm going to get you guys to do some work for me and put your answers in the chat here, okay? So today, we're going to be kind of doing two things, two very different things. But the first thing we need to do, we need to finish up what we were doing last week and the week before. I want to do just a little bit of today's class wrapping up, which means to finish with reported speech. Okay, the last 2 weeks we were talking about taking direct speech and converting it, changing it into reported speech, because we do it all the time. It's very useful, okay, to know how to take someone's words and report them by changing a few things, right? In fact, I didn't mean to do this. This is just a happy coincidence. But I used reported speech earlier in the class. Already, we're a few minutes in, and I have already used indirect speech when I spoke about the Italian gentleman saying that I looked like a Lego man. No, Mansur, you're asking about recapping and wrapping up. Wrapping up, think about a present, right? To wrap something up, when you wrap it, then that's finishing with it. Okay? So yeah, I said the Italian guy said that I looked like a Lego guy. So that's reported speech. All right? You ditched the class last week? Yeah, don't worry about it. We're just going to finish up a little bit. If you missed last week and you're totally lost, well, I mean, it might be a little bit tricky, but you can just follow along and do what you can. Okay? So, reported speech. Last week, we were talking about using specific report verbs, right? Obviously, words like ask and tell, but also things like warn, and we said order. What else did we say? Remind, beg, ask, invite, advise. All of these verbs that we looked at last week. Okay? Yeah. You're asking me where I live? I'm in Vancouver. I live in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Okay, so report verbs. This is what we did last week, and I want to do one more thing with that today. So last week, we talked about sentences like this one. I told her to call me, to call me when she got home. Okay? Using that report verb with that infinitive that's right here, right? To call. Okay? Good. All right. Two more examples from last week, and that's all we're going to talk about for last week. We said John begged Annie not to leave him. All right, we still don't know what her decision was, if she decided to stay or not. He's been begging her for the whole week to stay. Okay. Right, so John begged, John begged. French Leo, I told her to avoid Vivek. That's good advice. Okay. And then the last one that I'll show you from last week, the teacher warned us not to cheat. Okay? So as I said, this is what we were talking about last week, these report verbs. Now, the thing that I wanted to do last week, but just didn't have quite enough time, is to talk about the fact that you have options, you have choices with language, right? It's good to know the structures, but it's good to ask yourself or think about how many different ways you can say or do something with a language, okay? So for example, sometimes, in some cases, there's more than one way to report what someone else has said, okay? You take someone's exact words and there you have choice. There are a couple different things you can do with that quote, with that direct speech, okay? So, for example, this lovely couple here, very hip, hanging out at the pub. Jane asked, "Do you want to go out for dinner with me?" Right? Very progressive. Okay. All right, so Jane asked, "Do you want to go out for dinner with me?" All right. So this is the direct speech. Again, you have choice when it comes to taking this and reporting it. One way to do it that we talked about 2 weeks ago, right, was Jane asked if I wanted to go out to dinner with her. Okay. Venchi Grigorov, I say you said that is the problem, but I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Yeah, just remind me what the problem is. So what we were talking about last time is Jane asked, using that report verb ask, okay, followed by the if, right? If it's a yes or no question, like do you want, oftentimes we would use that word if or whether, right? So she asked if, and then of course, as we talked about before, you're going to change the tense. You're going to backshift that tense. If I wanted to go out, okay, and as we said before, you're going to change the pronouns or the possessive adjectives. Okay, I feel like you're trying to get ahead of me, but I wouldn't say request. The variety. Yes, life is full of choices. It makes it hard. I know, but that's what language is. There's not usually just one way, right? So in this case, yeah, look at the pronouns, look at the possessive adjectives, make sure that you're changing them in reported speech. Okay? So Jane asked if I wanted to go out to dinner with her. Request is formal, but this isn't really, it's not, it doesn't sound to me like a request. Now this is good. This is good. Now request is more like can you open the window? That's a request. Do you want to go out with me? Not really a request, right? There's a better word, I think, than request. I'm not sure if I see it in the chat, but I'm gonna put it up here. So this is one option, but of course, as we talked about last week, if she is asking if he wants to join her for dinner, the report verb would be Jane invited me to go out to dinner with her. Steve Lynn, yeah, you got it. Swade said offer. Offer, again, offer is more about when you want to do something for somebody, right? She invited me out. I offered to drive her, right? Right, okay, French. Request is used by the Queen of England. So yes, we formally request that you join us for dinner. Yeah, don't speak like the Queen of England, okay? Unless you're going to meet the Queen of England, which is fine. Okay, so invitation I think is the better choice here. But again, the key is choice, right? Okay. Jerry, no, I saw your answer. You said invitation. Yeah. Sorry, guys. The chat moves fast. You know, I don't see everything. Yeah. Okay. So here's another one. Or yeah, Victor says Jane asked him out for dinner. That's fine too. Arzeng is asking a good question. Which one is more popular between these two? I wouldn't say that there's one that's better than the other, or one that's more popular than the other. I think they're both equal. They're both very common, and they are both completely acceptable. Okay. All right. So same thing here. My boss said, "You, oh no, you have work harder. Come on, Shaun. Shaun has to work harder. There we go. Now this is going to be the same thing again, but that's fine. Okay, that was the mistake of the week. You have to work harder. I know, Jerry. I know you're just kidding. Okay. You have to work harder, is what my boss said. So my boss told me, right? And I know there's a mistake up there. Ignore that. Okay. My boss told me that I needed to work harder. So you're following told with the that clause. Okay? Told me. Now, Vivek, you're saying advised me? Maybe. But your boss might give you advice, or your boss might be kind of ordering you. You have to do this, right? So it's not really advice when it's coming from your boss. It's not a recommendation. Yeah, he's saying do this, or she's saying do this, or you're fired, maybe. Okay, yeah, or you must work harder. That's fine too. My boss warned me that I needed to work harder. That's a good one too. Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. So you've got choices, guys. This is good. Because this is what I used told again, but I just changed the structure a little bit and said my boss told me to work. So you've got that infinitive. So you can follow told with that clause, right? That plus your subject and your verb. Or you can follow told with the infinitive, okay, of that verb there. Yulia is saying, my boss wanted me to work harder. That's okay. Namanso, you're saying, my boss has told me. I wouldn't necessarily put it in the present perfect. I would just go past simple. My boss asked me to work harder. Again, it really depends on your boss. Okay. Some bosses might ask you to work harder, saying, listen, I need you to, can you please work harder? And then other bosses will say, you have to work harder. Okay? All right, give me one. I'm going to do one more example. All right, exercise. It's good for you. So the doctor said you should get at least 30 minutes of exercise every day. I think that's the recommendation, right? At least 30 minutes of vigorous activity daily. I'm not sure what your question is there, Geraldine. Use quotations. Oh, you mean the semicolon instead of the quotation? No, that's more for academic papers. All right, so this is the direct speech. Here's the quote, right? Or here's the reported speech, rather. The doctor told me that I should get. Now you're using told, past tense, right? Past simple. Followed by that clause, that I should, all right? But again, you've got choice, guys, right? Now, in this sentence, the word should, if you want to take that word should out, you can rewrite this sentence with a different kind of report verb. You could say something like this. The doctor recommended that I get. Now, you notice here, over here, maybe I'll make this red so you can see. There's no more should, right? Because should, the meaning of should is in the verb recommend. Okay? Some of you guys are, as usual, getting ahead of me, which is good because you've got another option for report verbs meaning should is this guy. And some of you wrote this in the chat already. The doctor advised me to get, right? So advised plus the infinitive, okay? So you're looking at multiple ways of saying the same thing, which is both a beautiful thing and a frustrating thing for some students. I understand that. Okay, this was frustration. Mild frustration. And Mansur, yes, you can. You can leave out that. It's not necessary. Or the doctor insisted. Sure, JB87. Good one. Good. Okay. So here's the thing, guys. I'm going to put you to work right away, a little bit earlier than usual. I'm going to jump out of this here. I'm going to go over to my notes. Go full view. So this is what I'd like from you today to start. I want to finish up with reported speech. Okay, so I want you to take these brief conversations, one turn each, Chris and Joan, Julie and Alan, look at what they say and report it, but try to do it using different structures. Try to switch things up a little bit and see what you can do. Okay, so for example, maybe I will change I'll change the color there. The first one says, Chris, could you tell me where the music store is? And Joan, I'm afraid I don't know. Okay, I'm afraid I don't know. So what was the conversation? And you could put this all in one sentence if you are ambitious. Okay? Yeah, if you can't see it, that's on your end, okay? You just got to refresh your page, maybe. I'll make it a little bit bigger. That's about as big as I can get it, guys. So, Chris, what would I say? Chris, could you tell me? So Chris asked if she could tell him where the music store was, right? Chris asked if she could tell him where the music store was. Okay, that's a pretty good start. Now I'm going to continue. I'm going to say, but Joan said that she didn't know. Wow, look at that. Beautiful. Mwah. Why she? Oh, because Joan is a woman's name. Okay, so you could change that to Joan if you want. But that's not Joan or John or anything like that. That's Joan in English is a woman. Okay, so Chris asked if she could tell him where the music store was. Or Chris asked if she knew where the music store was. Okay. Now just keep in mind, keep it back shifted into the past, right? Not continuous. You don't want Chris is asking, because it's not happening now. It's already finished. Okay? And somebody's asking, Teresa, you're asking, comma, after ask. Here? No. Not, well, if you're using quotation marks, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. And that's a good question. Okay? Yeah, Joan equals woman's name. So how about this, guys? I'm going to go up like this. Just 3 more conversations. Okay? Julian, Alan, teacher Colin, Ivan, David. Okay? Take the information and see if you can report it. Put your answers into the chat. French Leo, you're saying Joan seems like a male name? What about Joan of Arc? I don't know what you call her en français. What do you call Joan of Arc? I don't know. Okay. So yeah, take these, report them, put your answers in the chat. I'm going to disappear. I'm going to put the happy music on, the monkey music. And then we'll go over it together. Okay? Get to work, guys. I'm going to disappear. Go for it. All right. So much stuff in the chat. Good, good, good. These are big, long answers. Let's go over these together. If you're not completely finished with part D, you can keep working on it. Special thanks to Kawiya Nur. Hey, thanks for the donation. Keep my coffee flowing. Keep my Lego man hand permanently stuck. Thank you for that. All right. So let's look at some of these answers. Lots of good stuff coming in on the chat. All right. So the first one that you're doing on your own is B, right? Julian and Alan. Julian says, "What time are you going to the gym this evening?" Alan responded with, "Actually, I'm not going to the gym this evening. I have a date." Ooh, good for Alan. Okay, so which answer? I think to start, I'm going to put Nora's answer up there, which looks like that. Let me actually change the color here, make that all look very nice. Maybe make that a little bit bigger too. There we go. Comme ça. All right. Wow. Kawiya Nur, thank you very much for that. That's very generous of you. Special thanks. That's fantastic. All right, so let's look at B. Julian This is Nora's answer, okay? Julian asked Alan when he was going to the gym that evening, but Alan said he was not going because he had a date. Perfect. All right? Bravo. This is great. Basically, yeah, Nora, you did everything right. Used, obviously, ask here, and then you put all of the tenses backshifted into the past tenses. All right? That is perfect. Now, lots of other answers came in too, and most of you had very, very similar answers, right? So, I mean, Fairy Flower said Julian asked Alan what time he was going to the gym. Okay, but Alan, this is good, but you almost had it, Fairy Flower. You said, but Alan already have a date. You want to say Alan had a date that evening, okay? Just watch the tense. Watch the tense, but that was good, guys. Good, good, good. Okay, what about C? And again, I will go down here. Oops, change the color. Whoops. Okay. There we go. So teacher, does anyone in the class know the distance between the moon and the Earth? Colin, it is 384,400 kilometers. Okay. Now the first thing I'll say about this one, gang, is that a lot of you started the sentence with teacher because that's what's written here, okay? But just remember, kind of keep in mind that in English, we don't usually use the word teacher like this to refer to a person like as a title, right? I mean, it's very common in other cultures and other languages. So it often translates that a lot of language students say, hi teacher, or excuse me teacher, or teacher said this, but we don't usually use the word teacher to replace a person's name, the same way that we use doctor or even professor. Okay, so I would say the teacher is a little bit better. Okay, Rosa's got it. Yeah, right. Yeah, the teacher. Okay. Okay, so lots of answers. Mansour, you're pretty close there. Grigorov, Vinci Grigorov going for it, saying the teacher was curious whether anyone in the class, except for Colin, they're getting fancy there. Okay. D'Angelo the helper. Okay, so he said, D'Angelo the helper said the teacher asked, good, her students, or the students, right? I'm not sure if the teacher is a male or female, if they knew, that's perfect, the distance between the moon and the Earth. Okay. Surprisingly, Colin responded saying, man, you guys are getting super fancy. Good for you. Surprisingly, Colin responded saying it is 384,400 kilometers away. Okay, that's good. I'm going to keep things simple, okay? It's saying, and Colin said or answered that it is 38440. I don't need that space there, like that. Now, some of you put was here, right? Said that it was 384,000, and that's fine. Many of you said is because it's a fact, right? It's the truth. It's a general fact. And in that case, you don't need to backshift. Yeah, these are long sentences. Now, music lifestyle, the teacher asked her students if they knew the distance. Yeah, right. Music lifestyle nailed it. Why did I change? No, that's French, Leo. The distance has not changed. Again, as we talked about 2 weeks ago, sometimes you put it in the past tense because of that back shift, okay? But you don't have to. It's not incorrect to say was because it's reported speech. It's in the past, right? But to say it is fine because it's a fact, okay? Pavel, your music lifestyle, good for you. Good for you. Good answer, Pavel. Okay. So how about this? Let's go to the next one. And again, one more time. I'm going to make it blue. There we go. Full view. No, Stephen, you don't have to put an S on kilometers. No. Because km is short for kilometers, right? Because otherwise, you'd really only use km for one, right? 1 kilometer. Yeah? But no, km is fine for the plural. Good question, though. Okay, so French Leo, what do you mean? I'm not sure about that question. Yeah, right. So so on the topic of kilometers, if you're writing the whole thing out, yes, you have to put an S on it. Okay. So Ivan says, "Do you think I should buy a BMW?" David says, "No, you shouldn't spend so much money." So some of you are getting fancy saying consulted. Okay, that's good. Now, Rosa Casiero, I wouldn't use the continuous like that and say Ivan was asking David. I would just put it past simple because it's not a continuous progressive thing. Okay. Okay, so let me find another one here. So, Giari, let's go with you. He said, Ivan asked whether he should buy a BMW. Okay. Whether he should buy a BMW. And if you guys put asked David, that would be fine too. Ivan asked David whether he should buy a BMW. And Gary, what'd you say? Right, good. So, but David advised him not to spend his money. Right? Not to spend his money. That's perfect. Good. But again, you've got options. You could say he advised him, rather than not to spend, you could say he advised him to save. Right? But David advised him to save his money. David recommended that he not spend his money. Good. Yeah, Ratul, you're getting a little too fancy there, saying David replied in negative. I wouldn't bother with that. Okay, keep it simple. Keep it simple, guys. Yeah, and that's my advice for you. Any of you, doing any kind of language assessment. Obviously, you want to show your range of vocabulary, your range of grammar, but try not to get too cute that you're creating kind of strange sentences, right? Keep it simple. All right, this is good. This is good. Now, how about this? The tricky bit is that oftentimes in English, usually, guys, when you are reporting speech, the speech that you are reporting is not written down in front of you, right? Usually someone says something and you hear it, and then you report it later, okay? It's not very often in everyday life that you see something written down and then you later report it in writing. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do one little thing. My question is, what did they say? So I'm going to go in to Smrt here. I'm going to go into Unit 12 because this is what we've been working on for the last few weeks. And Pavel, that's perfect there too. Keep it simple, silly, Zach says. Okay. There's another word for S as well, other than silly. You've got options with that as well. So I'm going to go in here. What did they say? And here's what we're going to do. I am going to play a very short conversation. Two people speaking. Okay? I want you to listen to what they say and then tell me in the chat. I want you to report their speech in the chat. JB87, yes, you know the other option for that S. This is two people speaking. I believe one of them is Jim, and the other one is some other stranger with a very beautiful voice. He sounds very handsome. Okay? So it's a guy named Jim and some probably very handsome stranger with a wonderful voice. Okay? And it's quick. It's about 8 seconds, and it's natural English. So I want you to listen to it and see if you can report what he says. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn off my mic so that I can play this for you guys. Listen very closely. Okay, very closely. Here we go. Jim, is there any way you could open the window for me? It's pretty hot in here.
Actually, this window doesn't open, but I can turn on the air conditioner.
Wow. What a wonderful voice. Now I'm going to turn that up a little bit, I think, because I think that might have been a little bit too quiet. Okay, like we're going to try it again. So again, listen to it and see if you can tell me, what did they say? Okay. He was using AC. Okay, now try to use some of the structures that we've been learning in class. Okay, so again, I'm going to turn it on. We're going to listen to it again, see if you can report the speech. Here we go. Jim, is there any way you could open the window for me? It's pretty hot in here.
Actually, this window doesn't open, but I can turn on the air conditioner.
Okay, guys, so what did they say? Let me see some answers. Okay, this is good. Now I'm gonna go over here. And you're saying, what are you saying here? So Steve, yeah, okay. Shaun, you think it's some mysterious guy named Shaun? I guess, I don't know. He sounds cute. Navjot, okay, Navjot's saying he asked Jim if he could open the window. Right, he asked Jim if he could open the window. Perfect. Yeah. Or another thing coming in, rather than if he could, right? He asked Jim to open the window, right? He asked Jim to open the window. He asked Jim if he could open the window. Both of those are perfectly acceptable. Really good. Now some of you, Yulia is saying Jim preferred to turn on the air conditioner. Okay, this is good. Sergey, you're on the right track. What did Jim say? So Shaun asked Jim if he could open the window. What did Jim say back? He said something about air conditioner. Okay, Anna, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so let's listen to that again, and then we'll put some of your answers up here. This is good. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna go back here. One more time. Jim, is there any way you could open?
So Emily, what are you?
One more time. Jim, is there any way you could open the window for me? It's pretty hot in here.
Actually, this window doesn't open, but I can turn on the air conditioner.
Okay. So what did he say? Okay, now Rosa, yeah, you're on the right track. So he asked Jim to open the window, and Rosa is saying, I don't usually put Rosa's, I don't put enough of Rosa's answers up there, right? So Jim said that, whoops, not Saeed. Jim said that this window couldn't be opened, but he could turn on the AC. Okay, now this is a good one. Now based on everything that we've talked about in the last couple weeks with reported speech, what's the one thing, Rosa, I'm going to pick on you a little bit. Okay, yeah, Steve Lind, yeah. What's one thing that we should change in this part here, guys? What's one thing that should change? Okay. Oh yeah, so I'll put something like but. Okay, actually I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. This is what I'm going to do. Let me just, that's too big. There we go. That's easier. So he asked Jim to open the window, but Jim said that this window couldn't be opened, but he could turn on the AC. Right. Yeah, so just be careful, Rosa, of this, right? Because you're not talking about this anymore. Remember that when you change it to reported speech, words like here, there, this, that have to change. So you could say, he said that. I don't think I would say, he said that window. That sounds a little strange. He said that the window couldn't be opened, or didn't open, but he could turn, oh wow. I'm just making mistakes left and right here. Turn on. Good for you guys. Okay. Turn on the AC. Yeah, you guys, that was the mistake of the week too, guys, just so you know. All right, you know what? This is fun. This is good practice. So we're going to do one more, okay? One more. So I'm going to go down here again. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say, what did they say? I'm going to play the next one here, okay? What did they say?
So Emily, what are you doing this weekend?
Actually, I don't have any plans. You?
Well, I was thinking about seeing a movie. Would you like to join me?
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'll call you tomorrow.
Whoa, so much stuff going on there, right? So many things that those two people said. That was Emily and a guy who sounds like he has a fantastic beard, right? Yeah, so that was Mark and Emily talking. A long conversation. Yeah, you don't have to tell me the whole thing. Just tell me one thing. Just tell me one thing that they said. Okay, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to go back right there. Okay. Freddie's trying to find a date. Okay. That's good. Let's do it again. This is good. Yeah, you got some answers coming in. Good. So let's listen to it again. You don't have to tell me everything. Just report as much as you can. And then we'll look at it together. Okay, here we go again.
So Emily, what are you doing this weekend?
Actually, I don't have any plans. You?
Well, I was thinking about seeing a movie. Would you like to join me?
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'll call you tomorrow.
All right. So let's see some answers, guys. I was saying, you're asking where Mark is? Yeah, Mark left months and months ago. He lives in a different city now. But I was talking to him just the other day, 2 days ago. We still talk about music and stuff. Okay, so let me see. What did they say? Asala. I'm going to put your answer up. Mark invited Emily to join him to watch a movie. Good. She said yes. Yeah, good one. Good. Venchigrirov. He suggested to the pretty woman, in case that she had not to work. You know, you're trying to get too cute. There. Get that in case part out of there. Ana Raquel is from Argentina. Nice to see you too. Okay, so yeah, again, the same thing. Now, Yulia said he offered Emily to go. Whoops, man, I'm just full of mistakes today. Look at that. So Yulia, I wouldn't say he offered anything, right? He suggested that they go. He invited her, but an offer is more about when you're going to give. This is me giving something to you, or to do something for you. Okay. He offered Emily a chocolate or something like that, right? But I wouldn't say that. He invited, I think, is the best answer there, right? He invited her to go. What else? Now again, keep it simple, guys. Don't try to get too cute. Irina, okay, so she promised to call him tomorrow. Okay. What else? Or she said she would call him. That's a good one too. Yeah, let's say that one. So she said she would call him tomorrow. That's great. Right? She said she would call him tomorrow. And Victor says the guy asked her to see a movie on the weekend. That's great. Betsy Benavides said, I'm going to go up here, he asked Emily what she was doing. Okay. I'm going to go the short version. On the weekend, and she said that she didn't have plans. Okay, good one, Betsy. I changed it a little bit. I don't know if I would say this because it really depends on the time, right? So he asked Emily what she was doing on the weekend. Do I have two spaces there? And she said that she didn't have plans. Good. Good, guys. Good. Kutaya Mark asked if Emily to go. Now don't get them mixed up, all right? So he asked her to go, or he asked her if she wanted to go, right? Just be careful of that. Awesome. Good stuff, guys. Okay, this is good. So you know what, everybody? I was planning on just doing this for part of the class and spending the other half of the class on something else from Unit 12, but we're going to actually have to save that for next week because we don't have much time now. We've got time for the mistake of the week, and then we will wrap up the class. See how I wrap things up? I tie things together, right? Everything comes together by the end. Everything comes full circle. Right? So to wrap up the class doesn't mean to recap. It means just to finish it up. Okay? Oh, okay, yeah, right. So Anna's asking a good question about tomorrow down here, right? She promised to call him tomorrow. Anna has a good point. You could be the next day. Now, remember last week we talked about this, but we said it really depends on the time that you're reporting, right? I mean, if we're reporting it, she said it today, and we're reporting it today, then tomorrow is tomorrow, right? But if she said it yesterday, and we're reporting it today, tomorrow is today, or the next day, right? Oh yeah, so you guys are asking me about this. I've said it a couple times, but it's wrap up, right? To wrap something up, to finish, or to finish up, all right? Again, think about a present. You put the paper on it. You wrap it up. Okay. Le ti ha le. Are you telling me to wrap things up? And some of you guys are asking me things that I'm saying here. So I said comes full circle, right? Full circle means it goes all the way around and back to the beginning, right? Yeah, I said something about the circles. To come, here, like I'll put this in the infinitive. To come full circle means to go back to the beginning. It could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what is at the beginning, right? 360 degrees, Asala is saying. Okay. All right, guys. So you're not done yet, but we're going to have to skip part of what I was going to talk about today, and we'll jump right into the mistake of the week. Okay, mistake of the week. For anybody who's new to the class, this is how it works. I'm going to put a sentence up here on the screen, and you have to find me the mistake. Okay, what is wrong with my sentence? Mistake. That's right. So you guys have been very friendly with each other for the last 59 minutes. Yeah, but now this is getting serious. Okay, no more friendship. This is a competition. Who's the fastest? Okay, so yeah, I remember. Yeah, you told me that Federer would win. You told me that Federer would win Wimbledon last week. You're right. And again, Rosa, I say it warms my heart to see my students say that they have lost hope in winning the mistake of the week. Yeah? So, I'm going to put the sentence up here. It's a very common mistake. Sometimes it's a very simple mistake, right? But sometimes the simple mistakes are the harder mistakes to notice. Diari is saying it depends on the internet speed. I would say excuses. All right. So here we go. Who is the champion of the universe? Here is the sentence. Find me the mistake. I'll be back in 5 seconds. All right, good. So many answers coming in on the chat. Can't fool you. Sometimes I try to trick you. by putting something in the structure that we're looking at today. This is reported speech, obviously. He told the saleswoman that he needed a car. Some of you were looking at car big enough, but that's okay. That's just a reduced relative clause, right? We can say, I need a car that is big enough, or I need a car big enough for 2 adults, okay? That one's fine. That's not the mistake. The mistake is much simpler. And who found it first? I think, according to my internet and my chat, because some of you have challenged the results before, it looks like Steve Lynn maybe got it, but you just put S up there. So, I mean, is it this S? Is it this S? Yeah, this S. Do we need an S? Take an S away? I'm not sure. So I think Steve may have won, but there's no way to prove it, unfortunately. JB87 came in very close as well. However, while you spotted the mistake, which is down here, whoops, down here, whoops, there, that's the mistake. All right, JB87, you saw the mistake, but you put an apostrophe, little apostrophe there, and that's not what you need, okay? No apostrophe. The mistake here is you don't put an S on children. Children is the plural of child, so children's is not a word, right? It doesn't exist unless it's a possessive apostrophe with possessive, right? Victor's saying large enough. No, big enough is good. The problem is children. Now, Suede, you came in there too, but you've got children. Yeah, okay. So Diara, you were close as well, and Rosa, you were close with the S. But again, the S, who knows? Who could possibly prove what that S meant, right? That's all right. Steve says he was cheating. All right, so I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know for sure who the real champion was. Maybe Steve. Maybe JB87. Maybe Suede. I don't know. Maybe you'll just have to share the title for the week. So just be careful with those irregular nouns, right? That we don't put the S on for plural. Again, what seems like a simple mistake, but it's actually quite common for students to do that. So get that S out of there. So he told the saleswoman that he needed a car big enough for 2 adults, 3 children, and 2 large dogs. Okay? Everybody's happy for Steve. It's a trivial mistake. Yeah, well, we live in a trivial world, especially when people are judging your English ability. Okay. Victor's saying large dogs? Large dogs sound strange? No, large. I've got a couple large dogs that live in my neighborhood. Okay, so guys, let me pop out here. Let me go here, and here we go. Okay, so always a pleasure, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in and stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for visiting me on this Friday morning. It's always a pleasure to come in here and teach you guys. It's a highlight of my week. Gives me a reason to get out of bed in the morning, besides the morning paper. Anna, you have a long face? That's a bit of an old-fashioned... Are you like when you say long face, do you mean like you're sad? That's kind of old-fashioned. I don't know how many young English speakers actually use that expression. No, I don't read the newspapers. I don't read physical newspapers, JB87. No, I don't. I read my newspaper on my phone. Yeah, CBC News. Okay, so yeah, it's always a pleasure JB87, that is right. Stupid Federer won again. Get used to it. Fed's back. Yeah. Not a very interesting match, but I enjoyed seeing him win anyway. Don't be a hater. So, guys, keep practicing your English. Keep making mistakes. Keep learning from those mistakes. Tell your friends about this class. Bring more people. Bring your grandma. Bring the whole family. And we'll see you here next time. Have a good weekend, a good week. Keep watching the other classes. I think we've got maybe some new teachers coming up too. I think my buddy Karim, who I work with here, is going to be starting a class soon, I believe. So stay tuned for that. And you guys, haters gonna hate. Exactly. I don't know if you're quoting Taylor Swift, but that's fine. Okay, so let's leave it on that note, on the Taylor Swift note. See you next time, guys. Thanks for coming, and yeah, see you Friday next week. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want the full experience of being a student in a Smrt Live class with things like homework and teacher feedback, follow the link and become a premium subscriber. Also, if you want to see more videos from this class, check out our playlist.